architectural models and fundamental models. Physical models are the physical components. You have a computer, you have printers, you have scanners, you have a hierarchy of physical devices or physical hardware. That is a physical model. Now you have an architectural model where these components or which do communication, which do computation, these elements are able to talk to each other and have interrelationships with each other. That is the architectural model. So physical model means physical components, physical devices, computers, printers, laptops, whatever, they are all connected together in a distributed fashion. This is a physical model. Architectural model means inside these things there are intelligence is there which does computation, which does communication. The flow of those computational and communicational elements in these devices or these computers or printers, their aggregate is the architectural model. So one computer may be only communicating, one computer may be a server, one computer may be a client. Both are computers, but architecturally one is both are computers. Physically one may be a Pentium 4, one may be an Athlon. That is a physical model. But the Athlon computer may be a server, the Pentium 4 computer may be a client. That is the architectural model. And then there is an abstract model or a fundamental abstract model where we go down into various components. We can have an interaction model, how the server and the client talk to each other, what is the communication between the client and the server. The failure model, there may be 3 clients and 1 server. If one client conks off, one client switches off, how will the other 2 clients work and reconfigure the system? Then there could be security models where what is the security protocol between the client and the server. So please understand, there is a physical model. Physical model is the hardware, the component. Architectural model, the function or the intelligence or the computation like client and server. Physical model means computer 1 Athlon, computer 2 Pentium. Architectural model means computer 1 Athlon is a server, computer 2 Pentium 4 is a client. Fundamental model or abstract models will be the interaction between the client and the server. What will happen if the client fails? How will the other clients take over? And what is the security? So these are the basic system models that we see. Now we will see various configurations of these architectural models. Physical model, architectural models. Let us see different types of architectural models. I already told you client and server. There is a server, client is invoking a server, the server is giving the facility. So very simple model. Obviously within the computer there is a client process, and within the server there is a server process. That is that abstraction level is there. So client is invoking the server, server is giving the result. Very simple model. Now there can be a peer-to-peer architecture. Peer-to-peer became very popular, especially through an application known as Napster. I'm sure you might have heard about Napster. Napster is probably the most popular peer-to-peer model, which completely shook the music industry, because people were buying songs, but when you had a Napster application, you could share anybody's computer in anybody's song in anybody's computer. So all the copyright and the intellectual property things went for a huge toss. Everything went for a toss in the peer-to-peer. In the peer-to-peer, everybody has got everything. Everybody is a client, everybody is a server. And there are shareable objects. So peer 2 can share some object from peer 1, and all the instances are there, and there is some sort of communication between them. So if peer 1 wants to share peer 2 something, they can do it one to one, and all these peers are interconnected to each other. And that is what Napster does. Napster was an application till all the music companies, Virgin or all of them went to court, and they shut down Napster because Napster was a complete infringement of copyright. Anybody can share anybody's song. Nobody has to pay, and everybody is a server. Everybody is a client. Everybody has objects that can be shared among people. This was the peer-to-peer distributed architecture. First one is client and server. Very simple, straightforward. Client will ask something from the server, it will invoke the server will produce the result. Peer-to-peer, everybody is talking to each other, everybody is a server, everybody is a client, everybody has shareable objects that each of others can use. This is a more interesting client server. Yes?
Can you give an example where the interaction between a server and a server, like in the previous slide?
Yeah.
The one before, sir.
This one?
Yeah, there are two servers.
Yeah.
There are two servers here. Can you give an example where there is an interaction between a server and server?
There is an interaction like, you have a web server and a proxy server. I'll come to that one. So there are many web servers, right? There is a Yahoo web server. There is a Google web server, but all of them go through a proxy server. There is a proxy in the front. So this is an interaction between two servers. Now I'll come to another. There is another way of having a server to server interaction. So in some companies, as you know, these security applications are there. There are, if you take a defense kind of thing, right? If you take a defense network, defense has to communicate with clients, with suppliers, with other governments, and so on and so forth, right? So they may have a server in the outside, which is open to the whole world, where anybody can access, provided there is the firewall gives some sort of clarity. But within the enterprise, see, let us take a defense establishment. Only 10 or 20 policy makers should have access to the data. So then they can have a server outside and a server inside. And in that server inside, they may limit the number of users. They limit the number of protocols. There may be some security thing. So this is an example where you can have two servers. So client will only see this server, right? This server is open to anybody and everybody, provided the firewall gives you an access inside. But inside there may be another server that is used for secret computations and stuff like that. This is an example I'm giving. Okay, next is the same thing can be aggregated. You can have servers that are combined together. The way that I told you, servers can be all clubbed together. You might have heard about cluster computing, right? In a cluster, what is happening? All the computers are collectively working together. Their network, their storage is also shared among anybody and everybody, something like that. So this is also possible. Servers can be all clubbed up or clustered together, and the clients can get service from anybody. This is also possible. Multiple servers are there. Now, I don't know, maybe it's not a correct answer, but I'm just telling you, you are opening Gmail. So Gmail may have a server in India, maybe in Delhi or Mumbai, there may be a server of Gmail. But you travel to Singapore, in Singapore airport, you open your Gmail, it may be going to the mirror server in Singapore. So similar to that kind of application is this service provided by multiple servers. This is a web proxy. You have web server. One web server is there for www.amrita.edu. Another web server is there for intranet.amritanet.edu. But as far as you are concerned, you are sitting outside as a client, you go only through the proxy. You are not getting direct access to the amrita.edu server, nor are you getting access to the intranet.amrita.edu server, intranet.cb.amrita.edu. It's a separate server. You do not have direct access for obvious security reasons, because you don't want anybody to play into this server. This is an example. You can have a proxy in between, and this proxy is a two-level architecture. Now, when we are using Java applications, applets, applet is a small Java code where there is some visual this thing. Here what is happening is, when the client is asking, requesting for a downloading of an applet code, it gets executed. And then you are able to see the visual kind of thing. And the applet gets downloaded inside this client, and there is some sort of interaction. Maybe after some time, this applet can be deleted, or that can be replaced. It doesn't matter. So something like an instance of the web server in the form of an applet is being executed over here. I come to this. Now coming to the thin client. We know cloud can provide for a thin client. Thin client is very advantageous because it reduces the cost of everything. In a thin client, you don't need much of hardware, you don't need much of storage, you don't need much of software. You just need the memory to execute the programs. And then you go to a cloud, or you can go to another server. Through a cloud also it's possible, or through the network it is possible. And as and when you require, you subscribe to the hardware, you subscribe to the cloud, to the storage, you subscribe to the software. This is a very good way, thin client and server. And finally, 2-tier and 3-tier architecture. This is what Pragya, you were telling, no? You can have two servers also. You can have in a 2-tier architecture, directly the clients are talking to the server. Very simple, right? But in a 3-tier architecture, you can have a server in between, like a proxy server or a web server. You don't want everybody to talk to the database server, because your database server is secure, needs to be secure. You don't want anybody and everybody tweaking into the database server. So what do? You have an application server in between, so that nobody has access to the database server. Only the priority users are given. So this is a 3-tier architecture, and all secure applications, you need to have this 3-tier architecture. You need to have a proxy or an application server. Proxy is here. You need to have something in between, so that you are not giving access to the main servers at all. This is a very important secure application, this thing. And almost all companies and enterprises and organizations that want to do this look at these options. So that is all for today. Next class I will talk about the types of files and so on. I will close for now. If you have any queries, I can answer. Otherwise